My brother Don and I seemed to be always building model airplanes, from the mid-50s until the late 70s. Donnie liked the construction part, and I liked the radio control part. Donnie was a prolific builder. He would often build several different models at the same time. I would rather just fly them, so I would only build another one after a crash. And there was many crashes by both of us before we could keep them in the air for longer than a few minutes. I had 7 devastating crashes, and my brother had 9. On average, it cost about $100 to build a model airplane, and that's not including the motors, which ran on gasoline and were even more expensive. I managed to total 2 engines as well. Nowadays it would be a lot easier because the hobby uses electric engines rather than gas. I think there's a message in there somewhere. If nothing else, we were both very persistent. And we did finally learn how to fly. Oddly enough, and in retrospect, our crashes were more fun than when we made a good landing. The big takeaway, however, is that we had a heck of a lot of fun. There was one point in time where we got frustrated about all our crashes. In an effort for something to fly for a change, I bought a glider with a 6-foot wingspan. It was big. It was designed to use a small gas motor that only held 30 seconds of fuel. The instructions cautioned us to only use about 15 seconds of gas for the first flight. Wanting the full meal deal and a decent flight for a change, I filled it with a full 30 seconds. It flew straight up and up and up and kept going until it went out of sight right above us. The 6-foot wingspan disappeared into the blue. We never ever saw it again. Somewhere along the way, I wrote an article published in the May 1976 RC Modeler magazine about the flight box and electronics I was using. On Christmas, on the year I was married, I got a model boat kit of a ship called the American Scout. It was a 3-foot replica of the Liberty ships that were used during the war. I'm not sure whether it was a gift from Merle or it was a Doug to Doug present. I added an electric motor and radio control. It survived for more than 50 years. I had it on display in all my houses until I moved to Victoria. I ended up giving it to my good friend Derek Green, who served on a real one when he was in the Navy. I think it was in the 80s when Donnie and I became interested in model sailboats. We went down to the Humber River one day and saw a group of modelers racing sailboats. Now, this being close to our hearts, it didn't take us long to hook up with these modelers and buy a couple of used sailboats. We learned to sail these boats at Bluffers Park in Scarborough. Then we would go to the regattas in Humber Bay. About this time, I quit Electrosonic and opened up my own business, Decade Electronics. This became more than a full-time job, and sadly, there was no more time for model boating. My new toy was building a business. However, it didn't end there. After I retired, I was living in Lagoon City. One day, I got a call from George Stein, a Wards Island buddy, and he told me he was starting up a model boat club in Collingwood, Ontario, where he was living. He invited me to join him and help promote the club, and so I did. You can see some of our model sailboat racing in my bonus video directory. Have fun!